And you are live.
Aloha, snack bar, everyone. It's the one, the only, the gorilla in the econo mist. Come to you live with my main man, the uncanny one. He is the denizen of the airwaves, my main man, CJ, and we are coming to you on another episode of Rogue Money Radio, V and CJ in the morning, the morning show where you need to tune in and be forewarned of what's going on. uh, we're it. Anyway, guys, check it out. Check it out. You can follow us on Twitter at the Rogue Money. You can check out our website, roguemoney.net, which I have to start pumping out some more articles for. And you can also follow us on our Facebook page. This is being simulcast on Facebook as well. Also, guys, if you haven't done so already, go onto the Apple podcasting app on your iOS device and download our podcast. Just type in Rogue Money. If you have an Android device, you can find us on their apps like Pocket Cast. You can download our podcast there. Also, if you have the Apple News app, just open up your News app on your iOS device and type in Rogue Money, and voila, we are there. And we are in the process of getting certified with Google News. We are hashtag Truth News. Giving it to you straight, giving it to you raw. And guys, go to roguemoney.net again. Check out this awesome article that Wolf Gray has put up. The wild man from the Carolina woods, 30 years in finance. Check out what he wrote. Great article, great perspectives, as always. The only way that Wolf knows how to bring it. With that being said, if you are doing this whole entire New Year's resolution and you're banging it out, and you're saying to yourself, you know what, I'm about to turn a leaf. That's awesome. A lot of people have all sorts of resolutions, health resolutions, appearance resolutions, goals, whatever. It's time for a financial resolution. If you got a financial resolution in mind and you need to get out of debt, and you're saying to yourself, this is the year I'm going to get out of debt, this year I'm going to fix my credit, check out myfreedomnow.us. Myfreedomnow.us. It doesn't matter if you got judgments, liens, bankruptcies, whatever the heck you got. You got a bad credit score, collection agencies calling you, check them out, myfreedomnow.us. They can fix your credit report. They get you out of your debt situation and hitting the reset button on your life. So check them out. Once again, it's myfreedomnow.us. You go on there. You could actually, there's a section over there. Once you pop in your contact info, you can select what time's a good time for a callback. And more often than not, yours truly, that's right, I will be giving you a call to discuss what's going on with you and your file. Let us show you how we can help you. So check us out, myfreedomnow.us. Now we got all those announcements out of the way, CJ. What's crack-lacking, man? How are you this morning?
I'm doing wonderful, V. Here we are, the 5th of January already. The year is quickly taking off. And yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm just enjoying the start of the year, and I agree with you as far as resolutions and all those wonderful things. And I think we've hit the year on the right path. So very excited.
I agree, man. I agree. I think the year is off and running. Last night I spent some time putting together my workout training log and my nutritional log. Whatever, my thing is, if you don't write down your stuff, you don't write down your goals, you don't write down anything, you're just kind of going with the flow, man. And, what gets written down and measured gets managed. And, so I'm excited to get back into the gym today. I'm going to be getting there at some point today. I'm determined to, CJ. I'm determined to. So it's me
Getting
back
there.
on
Getting
path.
there is what they say. Getting there is like 75% of the battle, right?
That's 99% of the problem, man. Is
You
getting there,
got to get
especially
there. You got to get there.
when it's cold outside and it's dark and everybody in your house is sleeping and you're just like sitting there with a cup of coffee and on one hand, a protein shake in the other. And you ask yourself, why am I doing this? What am I trying to prove?
Who am I torturing?
Who
I
am I
can't breathe.
torturing?
I can't breathe.
I'm actually paying someone to do this to me. I'm actually paying to go somewhere so I can hurt and ache for days on end. Why? And dude, you open up that fridge and that halal bacon is calling you, bro. You know what I'm saying? That
Oh,
halal bacon with those
Oh yeah.
bags right there, just calling your name. You're just like, oh man, oh man, it's rough, CJ. The struggle is
It
real, my
is.
friend.
It is a real struggle.
The struggle is real. Oh man. So what's on the radar, bro? I mean, so many things are going on, so many things are happening. It's amazing. A lot of great, exciting things to see, and a lot of fun stuff to be had for sure.
Yeah, I think in terms of the whole, the last couple of days in terms of, Trump, tweeting out some things, obviously bringing some jobs back to America, it's created almost kind of like a real panic, south of the border, right? Like they are like freaking out right now about, the whole NAFTA and what's going to happen, and the peso has like severely declined the last few days.
Yep. Yep.
So right now, Mexico is like, they're kind of a little bit shell shocked regarding the potential of America putting their foot down, saying, no more. We need to keep some jobs here in the good old USA.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's like the Mexican elites are panic. They're panicking, CJ, because they're realizing that MAGA is a force that is too great even for them. Carlos, not so slim. Okay, Carlos, not so slim, who owns the New York Times, the Mexican billionaire who's lost over $20 billion this year alone in his net worth, CJ, is panicking as well. His telecom business is being threatened. Nobody's reading his stupid newspaper, who just recently decided, hey, you know what? We're going to rent out the top 8 floors of our headquarters because we can't make any money. I mean, nobody wants them, okay? And now all of a sudden, everybody, this is what I said to all of you guys who, if you haven't been listening, if you haven't been paying attention, I said it before and I'll say it again. My main man, DJT, Donald J. Trump, what did he do? Well, he said, hey, Ford, guess what? You coming back? Ford says, yes, sir, we're coming back. Oh, out of nowhere, me and CJ, we reported on this on yesterday. They scrapped their entire $1.6 billion deal on that new plant that they were going to build down there. And they said, you know what? We're going to come back, and instead of spending 1.6 billion, we're going to spend 700 million. We're going to get the tax, the tax benefits, this, that, and the other. We're going to come back and we're going to build in Michigan. The Mexican elites are freaking out. They are freaking out because they thought like some of you thought. They thought like some of them, like the majority of the mainstream media thought that Donald Trump was just yapping at the mouth. He's just all talking, no action. And I kept telling you guys, you don't know this guy. I've been knowing this guy and what he's been doing pretty much my whole life living here in New York, right? Everybody knows about Donald and how the Donald operates. I've been telling you guys, you don't know this guy's mentality. He's not a politician. He's a businessman. He's an absolutely vicious businessman. You don't know who you're messing with. If you want a snippet how this guy operates, read The Art of the Deal. He doesn't just flap his gums. And now the Mexican elite, CJ, are finding out that reality. Now they're saying to themselves, they're like, holy frijoles, Holmes. Mexico loses thousands of jobs with no word on clear strategy, I say, for confronting the next U.S. government, which has presents itself in the protectionist, especially anti-Mexico. Ford's decision to leave is awaits the economic in both countries. For our severe decrease in investments from our neighboring country, for the U.S. is a notable increase in production costs. It certainly goes to the idea that the status quo is entrenched. Underlay Holmes, this should put us on notice. When he says he wants to renegotiate NAFTA, he means it. Yep, he absolutely means it. What say you, CJ?
Well, I think the whole thing is they were much like the elite and the career politicians here in the U.S., right? So when Trump first, was getting close to winning the primary, they had people like Vicente Fox coming out and playing, I'm not paying for no effing wall. They had, all their elite coming out and saying this, and they started the whole conversation off on the wrong foot. You don't go in the art of the deal and negotiate by slamming who's sitting across from the table from you. and the whole thing is this, V, with NAFTA, okay, everyone was like, okay, well, we have to help Mexico improve their economy because that's going to help, the jobs there and people stay there. And what has happened is absolutely nothing. There's still thousands and thousands coming across the border because, if you think of here in the U.S. with the wage disparity of the ruling class 1%, it's probably 0.05%, as far as in Mexico, that
Right.
they absorb all the wealth, and the wages there, they're still paying people pennies on the dollar. They are truly doing nothing to curb the drug cartels and the violent crimes that happen there. So NAFTA did nothing to improve illegal immigration in the United States, and it's probably in fact made it a lot worse.
Oh, 1000%, man. It's the average everyday life of Mexicans have been severely affected. You have tens of thousands of people that are being killed on the border, near the border. Violent crime is through the roof. And there is a huge portion of the Mexican population that is fighting back against the cartels. We've seen so many documentaries and news reports on it. But it's simply not enough. The elites in Mexico are a bunch of parasitic bastards who just suck the wealth and labor of the people and give nothing back, much of anything in return. Mexico is ripe, is absolutely ripe for a Donald Trump-like character to come in and clean up the show. These guys who did not take it seriously, these guys who thought, it was going to be the gravy train is going to last forever, these idiots, people were so dumb. Let me tell you something. 2017 Time Magazine's Person of the Year. You know the Person of the Year is, EJ? It should be the American public. It should be Joe Public. It should be the American citizen who decided, we're sick and tired of being on the sidelines. We're sick and tired of brain-dead idiots, irresponsible hacks, and a bunch of libtards leading our country off the cliff. It's time for us to wake up. That is who should be Time Magazine's Person of the Year. And my question to Mr. Vicente Fox and to every single elitist that is in Mexico, okay, who said they're not going to pay for the wall. My question to you guys now is, guys, do you want to pay? Is it going to be cash or are you going to pay it in credit? Let me know.
Exactly. Cash or credit, either one.
Cash or credit, either one.
We can even bill you for 30 days.
Yeah, exactly. We'll bill you for 30 days, cash or credit, because Donald Trump, Trump just said that, he just told the DHS, get ready for an assessment, put an assessment through about that wall. He's going to do it. The people don't, this guy, why do you think Hillary Clinton says if this guy wins, we're going to be effing hanging from nooses? Why does she say that? They are petrified, CJ, of this guy. They're absolutely petrified.
Oh, unreal, absolutely, man. Absolutely. And in Mexico is in terms of wealth. I mean, they have a lot of wealth in Mexico. The problem is that the elite, they keep it to themselves, and they don't ever try to really build like the infrastructure, the economy, their whole education. No. There's been attacks against the educators there. They don't do a whole lot in terms of trying to build up their society. Instead, they keep them dumbed down. They keep them enslaved to the drug cartels and the coyotes with their human smuggling. And it's time that the Mexico takes a hard look at themselves to try to do better. There's only so much American industry that can leave the United States, and you look at what it's done to us here, where we really don't have much of an industry at all. We're more of a service sector economy, service driven. Bartenders and waitresses and all that. And yes, those jobs are important, but there's only so many of those that you can have. And then you have the idiots here in the U.S. are saying, well, let's raise the minimum wage to $18 an hour. I mean, just
Good
come on.
God, are you kidding me?
It makes absolutely no sense. Just craziness.
Yeah. Dude, here's a great article by the Associated Press. The Ford Motor Company's cancellation of plans to build a $1.6 billion manufacturing plant in San Luis Potosi has sounded alarms across Mexico. Even as the country is being rocked by rowdy nationwide protests against the January 1st gasoline. Yeah, what is up with that price hike, man? Yeah, just wake up and all of a sudden the price is like 20. You cover this wonderfully.
Well, that's
25%
government
higher.
intervention for you. Yeah, that's government intervention for you. You know, they're trying to take the gasoline. They supposedly want to take it out of the private sector and move it more towards the public. And so they started trying to do their own little analysis and forecast of, you know, what gas prices are going to do after they accomplish that, right? So the
Yeah.
wonderful Mexico president had this brilliant decision that, well, let's just go ahead and let's just establish a price point. Let's go ahead and take it up 20%, and then hopefully at some point it's going to average itself out to truly be what the gas prices are going to be in reality. What kind of heck thought process is that, V? It's just going to work its way to an average price, and then boom, you know, the gas prices go up, you know, $4 a gallon. I think they price things there in liters and everything, but almost a little over $4 a gallon. And the people are revolting, right? I mean, if you think of the agriculture there in Mexico and the farmers that are trying to get their crops out and everything and drive all those, I mean, shoot, they're already getting, you know, pennies on the dollar, and now you're going to raise their gas prices that much. And so the people revolted, like they were literally like blockading, like probably the wrong, you know, thought process there, but they were blocking the gas stations and yeah, almost like rioting. I mean, you mess with people's income that much, you know, 20%, you know, overnight, that's huge.
Well, it's a massive amount, man, and people rightfully should be voting. All the Mexicans out there, there's people in Mexico that listen to this broadcast. You know, get organized, rise up, and put an end to this boot on the back of your neck that's been there for several decades, like pretty much forever. Get rid of it already. I mean, you guys, Mexico is a very interesting mix of your typical, you know, South American, Latin American socialist type, you know, setup. Excuse me. But at the same time, you have people that are, you know, very capitalistic. You have people that are very libertarian, very not wanting to be part of the government. And they should rise up. Excuse me, I'm coughing like Hillary Clinton.
No
choked
worries.
on my own choked on my own saliva. Anyway, you know, when a nation, okay, when you look at the third world, and this is so important, guys, it's so important for us. When you look at the third world, okay, when you look at emerging economies, the biggest expenditure of GDP that a person has in other economies throughout the world is food and energy. And when you're raising gas prices, when you raise the price of energy, you have an inverse reaction of raising prices on food. So that 25% increase in gasoline prices will trickle down to the trucks that carry the food, the trains and the planes, the ships, whatever have you. Okay, so energy prices and food prices always and typically go hand in hand, and this is why, you know, when you compare the infrastructure, the quality of life that we have in the United States and in the West, it's far better than the majority of the emerging market. It's far better than the entire emerging market, because the emerging market suffers from the simple fact that the most of its GDP, but the most of the money that its people spend money on, the average citizen there, is on energy and gasoline. And this whole article right here with the Associated Press, where they detail, you know, Trump leaves Mexico without 3,600 jobs. Ford's breaking jolts the peso, and said reformer, referring to the Mexican currency's nearly 1% slump following the news. The jobs created in Mexico have contributed to maintaining manufacturing jobs in the United States, which otherwise would have disappeared to the face of the Asian competition. And that is a bullcrap. I mean, you listen to this BS, CJ. The jobs created in Mexico have contributed to maintaining manufacturing jobs in the United States. What does that mean?
Yeah, where did they come up with that theory?
Oh my God. I mean, this is some straight up. I mean, you got to be a fool to read. This is like a Orwellian doublethink right here. We create manufacturing jobs in Mexico. It will maintain manufacturing jobs in the United States, which otherwise would have disappeared to Asia. What?
Crazy.
Nuts. And, you know, the Mexicans have been nervous about Trump's tough rhetoric toward their country, including the disparaging remarks about immigrants who enter the U.S. illegally. and vows to wall off the border and renegotiate North American free trade, upsetting ties with what is by far Mexico's largest trading partner. I mean, here's the thing. When NAFTA came in, okay, we all see the negative trade balances that have occurred. When NAFTA came in, Mexico all of a sudden had access to a $16 trillion market. Okay? Access to a $500 or $800 billion market. It was so lopsided that it was guaranteed to be a net deficit, and we've seen what has occurred with our jobs. They've enriched themselves. It's not free trade when a puny country with a $5 to $800 billion economy has access to a $16 trillion economy. That is not free trade. Okay, that is lopsided. And then we've seen the effects of this occur, CJ. Unbelievable.
Yeah, and it's almost because they I shouldn't say they have to be, but in terms of the whole political arena in Mexico, it is so corrupt. I mean, they are in collusion with the drug cartels.
Oh yeah.
They have the local police forces. They're afraid to actually become local police because they usually are executed or whatever. And the federal Mexico government, they do little or nothing about it. And if you want to do anything here, like on the U.S. base to help Mexico, then let's end the drug wars. Let's end the cocaine import agency. Let's legalize cannabis and really stifle the whole drug trade. Because the last 12 years or 16 years of the whole drug wars has done nothing but bring more drugs across the U.S. border and made the drug cartels even stronger, V.
Oh, 1,000%, man. I agree with you totally. We need to get really, pragmatic. Look, I'm not a big fan of the Euro weenies. Okay, the Euro weenies and all their socialism, not a big fan. Not a big fan of their war on masculinity. Not a big fan of a lot of things that they do. But here's one thing. Certain European countries, you have drugs that are legal. Okay, marijuana is legal, cocaine, whatever. Okay? Heck, there's even certain sections in Europe, like in Denmark, where every morning junkies gather at a park and safe, hygienic needles are passed out to them. They take shots, and then once they pass out, somebody comes in and picks up their bodies and takes them off so they can recover. But at the end of the day, that seems like craziness. But what you've seen when you get rid of the stigma of, oh, it's illegal, right? Oh, it's illegal. All of a sudden, you have less drug users, number one. Number two, all of a sudden, the criminal undertakings and the undertones that are in the drug industry, that are in the whole entire, criminal enterprise of drug dealing is gone. Okay, now you've ended human suffering, human trafficking. You've gotten rid of nefarious black market money. That's how you do it, and it has to be done. I mean, dude, case in point, look at prohibition. When there was prohibition in this country, you had more alcoholics than ever. Why? Because it was the thing. Because you've created this taboo of, ooh, it's alcohol, ooh, it's bad. And you had more people sneaking off to get drinks. You had more people wanting alcohol. And then all of a sudden, when prohibition came to an end, things normalize, okay? People get responsible. Human beings, it's a shocking thing for governments to understand, especially the libtard governments. If you give people responsibility and you back off, they tend, for the majority of them, tend to be responsible. Okay? There's always going to be a small faction of those that are irresponsible, and that you can't help them. They will always be there. But for the majority of the population, they act in a very responsible manner. Case in point, German Autobahn. Okay? There's a reason why you can drive 130, 140 miles an hour over there. Versus over here, you can't. Why? Because there's a level of training, and the German government expects a level of responsibility when you drive. Can't say that we don't have that responsible culture here. So everything's a nanny. Everything's ninny. Everybody's you're being ninified by nannies here. And that's what's got to change. So when we got to get the money out of narcotics, man. Once we get rid of that, CJ, I'm telling you, it's going to benefit everybody. And there's such an industry. And this is what the elite's afraid of. They are really deathly afraid of cannabis, bro. They're freaked out
Oh,
about that
absolutely,
plan.
absolutely.
They're terrified of
Yeah,
it.
they are. Yeah, they want to keep up, with all these medicines that, never really cure any diseases, right? They just
Yep.
all they do is just make a drug to counter another drug. And I think in terms of the legalization effort, V, if you look at, Colorado's a perfect example where once they legalized marijuana, the whole drug trade like left the entire state. They're like, okay, we're out of here.
Yep.
There's the price points are way too low. We used to be able to get $20, whatever. Now we get $2 because, again, it just falls back to the law of supply and demand. And when your supply is that high, it's going to drive down a little bit more of the price point and make it that it's not attractive to participate in illegal narcotics trade. And one of the largest lobby against the actual marijuana, believe it or not, is actually the alcohol industry. The alcohol industry is the one that forms these studies that say they wanted to come out and say, well, look at the amount of people driving under the influence of marijuana.
Oh,
so,
yeah. Okay.
so the alcohol lobby is huge in terms of countering the legalization efforts for marijuana.
Yeah.
And they're worried about it, obviously, going into their profits a little bit. That's what that whole thing is about. But yeah, just very interesting, But in terms of the CIA and their covert operations and everything that they do, there's been known facts that through the years when Bill Clinton was in Arkansas with the drug trade and bringing it in through Arkansas there. I mean, these are known facts that are there, and it was all done. With I'm not saying the entire CIA is bad, but definitely it's time to get in there, figure out what's working with the CIA, and do some clean house in there as well.
The Cocaine Import Agency, the world famous cocaine import agency that has a long history of various nefarious activities, CJ. What's going on with the impeccable agency that imports the coke?
Well, with with everything that's being said in terms of some of the false narrative that's being pushed out there, and what the CIA has been trying to help portray this story again as of illegal hacking by the Russians. And they want to come out with their intelligence reports, and who knows what to believe, right? That's why Trump is only taking like every other report, because he has his own people that are kind of giving him information. But
Right.
Trump is in the process where he said, you know what, we probably need to go ahead and make some decisions. And he's not going to war against the American Intelligence Agency, but at the same time, I think Trump completely understands exactly what you said as far as their activities and some of the things that they have done. Trump is not stupid. He understands these things. So you're going to probably see when he comes in just some actual conversation. This is coming out by Zero Hedge that Trump is working on a plan to restructure, pare back the CIA and America's top spy agency. So again, this is probably one of his workings, his doings, and it's long overdue. V.
Man, and the most amazing thing is the main guy who's helping to reformat this entire thing with the cocaine import agency with the CIA is none other than General Michael Flynn. Okay? And guys, here's the deal. We've known for a very long time, and I've said this before, there is almost like an internal war between the CIA, which has turned into a completely, and always has been, like a civilian-based thing. I mean, you got contractors. They don't have the type of loyalties that the military guys have. There's always been a rift between CIA and the Department of Defense. Always been a rift, and we've seen that when Cy Hirsch put out his leaked the information that he got that was leaked to him, that said that the DoD was leaking information to the Russians to help the Russians combat terror in ISIS, and which is basically playing against the CIA. Okay, which pissed the CIA off. Okay, we knew this was going on. Okay, so Michael Flynn, who served as the Defense Intelligence Agency until he was pushed out by DNI James Clapper, the Claptrap. Okay, Michael Flynn is the main guy who's going to be reformatting it and getting it done. Okay, this is huge. This is going to scale them back. This is going to end their ridiculous. I mean, the CIA is a is an obsolete, absolutely obsolete organization. There's no need for it. It needs to be scaled back, similar to what Russia and Putin has done with the KGB, making the new FSB much more leaner, much more lighter, and more accountable and more in control with the state. Okay? This is the same thing that happens to the CIA. The CIA at this point, guys, is like the wild, wild west. God knows what they're doing. And this is also very key. We don't know how much money they have in their black budget, CJ, which we know a great portion of that black budget comes off the narcotics trade. This all has to stop. This all has to stop. Trump knows this. He knows this.
Yeah.
And people are, well, look what happened to JFK. He tried to stop the CIA and they blew his brains out. It's not going to happen with Trump. I promise you, it's not going to happen with Trump. Watch what happens. There's some very key players. Remember what Bix always says? Bix always comes out and talks about good guys and bad guys. The good guys are making sure Donald J. Trump is well protected. The good guys are making sure that the bad guys in the CIA are put on notice. Believe me, it's coming down. It's happening.
Yeah, and look at what intelligence reports they have provided, right? Where did it get us in Iraq with the weapons of mass destruction? You know, where has gotten us with the entire, you know, drug trade and the things that they've been involved with? And not only that, in terms of the drug trafficking, but also the human smuggling. You know, some of the things that they have been a part of. And this is all stemmed from, again, going back to what you just said, the whole JFK years with, George Bush Sr. with his days in the CIA, and how much influence the CIA has truly had in the U.S. elections.
Absolutely, man. You know, and the simple fact also that here you have an agency that is so politicized. I mean, this is, if there is any sign that the CIA has completely lost its way, it's this year. We all knew about all the nefarious activities that the CIA has been doing, what they've been up to, this, that, and the other. But for them to come out during a very emotional and, you know, where the emotions are running high and stressful election cycle, and during the election cycle, they're out there saying there's evidence of a Russian hack, and they're not producing anything. That shows you how politicized they are. They're freaked out. You understand? They know what Trump's going to do to them. Why do you think they're out there saying, pushing this narrative of Russian hack, Russian hack, Russian hack, Russian hack? And Trump's like, okay, show me the evidence. Oh, well, we'll have to wait until Friday. Oh, you got to wait till Friday. And Trump rips them a new one. Goes on Twitter and says, oh, look, we're the quote-unquote intelligence agency, as he likes to call it. He puts intelligence in quotations. That shows you the disdain. You got to understand from the psyche of Trump. That is showing you the disdain, the utter contempt he has for the cocaine import agency. He has utter contempt for them. He's making them look like idiots. I mean, this guy has made the mainstream media look like morons. Soros is God knows where Soros is at this point. Okay, you have the elite politicians here who are going to look like idiots, and now you have the cocaine importers. You have the CIA on the run at this point. They are on their heels, bro. Okay, and all they can say is peddle that ridiculous story, Russia hack, which we just found out, CJ, with the Washington Post, right?
Right. Yeah, I mean that whole story regarding the Washington Post and them putting that narrative out there, you know, they wanted to push that agenda, right? They had, and again, I was listening the other day to another show, and they talked about, they're putting a little bit of fear into people that, right leading up to the election, they're going to kill power to the entire eastern United States, creating a state of emergency, keeping Obama in office, and listening to it, and I have people that reach out to me out of fear. They're like, "Is this really going to happen? Is this what that's going about?" And in a sense, I'm glad that if they're putting that news out there just to counter it, to keep people from wanting to try to do that, but at the same time, instilling that fear in people that that's going to happen. That whole thing with the power company. You know, it was a laptop that was hooked up. You know, the power company did not even validate the story. They came back and said, wait a minute, we weren't hacked. That computer wasn't even online. It was malware in a computer. It had nothing to do. That laptop wasn't even online during the time. And again, you know, just that whole narrative around the Russians are hacking elections, the Russians are hacking the United States infrastructure, just insane. It's pushing a huge narrative.
You know it is, man, and this is why we need to stop calling ourselves, organizations like Rogue Money. We need to stop calling ourselves alt media or alt news. We're truth news. Truth news. That's what we are, and that's what we're about. Again, the damn fear porn. They're gonna shut off power to it. Nobody I don't know who the hell is out there saying that bullcrap. This is the same bullcrap I confronted, and when I went on Greg Hunter's show, and I said, and I absolutely destroyed the whole martial law argument in one simple sentence, where Greg was like, "Thank you for saying that," because so many people don't understand, what the level of play is. There's no deep thinking that is occurring. There's a lot of platitudes, CJ. There's a lot of axioms being parroted around in the alt media community, but very, very few deep thinkers. Very, very few people who are thinking very deeply and analyzing the situation, saying, hey, you know what? It's not going to happen. The people who are saying, oh, Obama's going to stay in there for a third. No, this guy wants to get the hell out of office as quickly as possible. He just bought a house, by the way.
He bought a couple of homes, I believe.
Yeah, he bought a couple of homes. He wants to get the hell out of Dodge. He wants to go play golf. He wants to get his dream job being the UN Secretary General.
And a Hollywood celebrity. He wants to go live out there with the Hollywood in California. He wants to go live with the celebrities out there, that elitist class.
Oh, yeah. He wants to join the turds. Skidmark wants to join the rest of the turds in Hollywood. That's what Skidmark wants to do. He doesn't want to stay in there for a third term. But how is that fear, that low vibrational energy being put out there? Ooh, Obama's gonna pull off an EMP strike and take out the Eastern Seaboard and stay on for a third term. Why would he want to do that? He just wants to get the hell out of Dodge.
Yeah, and stop doing it for shock value too. I mean, it's ridiculous, man. The headlines that they post and then coming out with this narrative, it's just continuous cycle of the same thing of, let's shock people into listening because we think it's the right thing to do. And I'm glad that we
talk about, man.
I know, exactly. And I'm glad that we don't ever go that way. I mean, it's just unreal. But anyway, yeah, so it's pretty exciting, because here we see the House, ready to go ahead and put some things in motion to pretty much undo a lot of the regulations that Obama has passed the last several years. And this has got to infuriate him. I think it's funny as heck that they're getting ready to consider doing this, that, with basically passing one legislation is going to be able to wipe out a lot of Obama's 11th hour midnight rules and things that he's done, the executive orders, the things that he's accomplished that he did without even trying to even negotiate. He said it himself, whenever his last couple of years, like, well, if I didn't have to deal with Congress, I could have accomplished a lot more as president.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, my God. Translation. I didn't get a chance to really F up the country in the 8 years that I was in because of Congress. If Congress wasn't there, I would have left this place a smoldering heap of crap. That's exactly translation. Thank God there was some sort of resistance, whether it's Republican egos that were butthurt Republicans who had bruised egos that simply wanted their version of globalism Inc. or it was actual patriots who were pushing it back. Thank God he didn't get to do all the things that he did. This guy's a tyrant. An absolute. Look, here's the difference. Trump's an egoist. He has a huge ego. He literally thinks he's the best there is at what he does. And God bless him for it. But he's not a narcissist. Do you get what I'm saying? Obama is a narcissist. He's dangerous. And that's a problem, CJ. That's a huge problem.
Yeah, it is.
It says over here, Good.
No, I was just going to say, yeah. So anyway, just to fill in our listeners, so the House of Representatives passed legislation yesterday, which would give Congress the power to kill the so-called midnight rules. And they had tried this, earlier in the year, and Obama threatened to veto it. But basically, what it would do is give them powers to basically any of those last-minute rules and things that Obama did that, with basically passing this legislation, that they'd be able to take a swipe at numerous things that Obama had done, accomplished, or did under as president, and it would actually help bring in those regulations. So it gives them enough time to get that accomplished. Now, obviously, this would have never had passed, and obviously Obama would have definitely have vetoed it. But this has real traction, and with controlling the House and the Senate, a pretty darn good chance that they'll be able to, look at some of those 11th hour things that Obama did, and to rule those things back, and again, keep the powers in check the way that our forefathers envisioned our Constitution. So pretty exciting.
Yeah, it's great, man. This guy single-handedly converted the entire executive branch and made it a dictatorial arm of the New World Order. Okay, with all these, executive orders, his midnight rules, this asshole, right, for lack of a better word, Christmas Eve, middle of the night, 12 a.m. What does he do? He enacts a rule to combat, fake news. He enacts all these crazy, arcane. Like, what did he do like a year ago, 2 years ago? Here it is, New Year's Eve. Everybody else is with their families. He sees there's no resistance. The a-hole decides to go ahead and enact NDAA. This guy is a disgusting piece of crap. And the fact that he is trying to leave an absolute mess for Donald Trump when Trump's coming into office has been exposed to the world. Everybody sees that Obama, being the saboteur that he is trying to sabotage, what's happening, with the incoming president, bro. And everybody sees it. Everybody sees it. And the mainstream media just doesn't get it. They just don't get it, bro. They're good.
No, I was gonna say everybody does see it. You're seeing it reported everywhere now that, okay, why is Obama doing this? Why is he pretty much trying to sabotage the next? He sat there in front of the American people and he vowed on this. Just tells you a little bit about his character. Gets on national TV and says, the American people have spoken. We're going to honor it. We're going to make this a smooth transition of powers. Just like Bush, did for me back then. And then boom, once he's off the TV, what does he do? Everything counter to what he just said, and that's what he's done the whole past 8 years. And people just don't get it. Yep. The last 8 years, everything it faced, it's kind of like Hillary, right? So two different public policy and a private policy regarding everything.
Right. Exactly, man. It's and these guys have tried very hard, man. Very hard. He's been sabotaging the White House, trying to create as much chaos as possible for Trump coming in. The media is making it. They're putting out this thing of fake news, this Russian hack, and what's happening? Obama's being exposed. Nobody's listening to this stupid media. Okay, like we said earlier, where idiots are saying, "Oh, Vermont governor says that Russia's hacking, attempting to hack our electrical." Why the hell? You think the Russians care about Vermont's electrical grid? Why would they even care? The only thing good coming out of Vermont is Ben and Jerry's, bro.
Oh, I love Ben and Jerry's.
Yeah, so do I.
Good stuff.
I'm all about the chunky monkey. The chunky monkey.
You got it.
Yeah, man. That and the Cherry Garcia, bro. But apart from Ben and Jerry's, what else is coming out of there? Nothing. I mean, there might be some great ski slopes, but why would the Russians want to do it? We will attack Vermont electrical grid. We will destroy their ability to use a ski slope. We will shut down the ice cream factory of Ben and Jerry's. Why are we spending so much hours doing this? We don't know. I mean, come on. It's ridiculous.
It is. And I think the legacy of Obama's America will be what happened. And again, I think the media is to blame as well for all this regarding, Trump is a racist and everything is what happened. I'm going to bounce you down a little bit to what I emailed you is what happened yesterday in Chicago. So, yesterday in Chicago. So we saw that a few months back where the white guy was dragged out of his car and beaten up for voting for Trump. But this was just, it was even difficult for me to even watch the video. But yesterday in Chicago, a mentally ill white person, mentally disabled, was basically tortured live on Facebook. 4 black youths were beating up on him. They had him duct taped. They were kicking him while they were getting high, and the girl was live streaming it. They've all been arrested. The guy was reported missing, so this is a factual story. They were like taking it like a knifey, and they were like, you know, cutting his clothes off. They were cutting his scalp. I mean, just the low life. And they were, you know, they were saying F white people, F Trump, all this. This will be the legacy of Barack Insane Obama.
Yeah, 1,000%. And it's from Chicago. What does Chicago have in common, bro? Democrats and single mothers. Need I say more? Democrats and single mothers. That is the main thing that Chicago has in common with Milwaukee, with so many other inner cities that are just like running rampant. Democrat rerun, okay, and single moms, because there's nobody there, ain't no dad around to put a foot in to break a foot off one of these kids' asses and knock the crap out of them. You know, that's why they have no fear. They run around like a bunch of freaking animals, bro. There's nobody there to smack them around. And this is what happens. You know, this is exactly what happens. You have in a lot of these inner cities, no dads, no responsibility, no nothing. There's no male role model anywhere. You got a bunch of, you know, animalistic kids raised by a bunch of hooligans, and this is what happens. This is what happens. This is and this is going to stop. Oh man. I'm telling you, CJ. I mean, I look at stuff like this. It pisses me off to no end, bro. It pisses me off to no end. It's disgusting.
Yeah, it was very difficult, you know, to watch that. And one of our listeners correct me. They weren't smoking dope. They were smoking something else. So thank you for that. But yeah, so Chicago investigators are questioning 4 African Americans after a Facebook Live video shows a group of people torturing a white mentally disabled man while someone yelling F Trump, F white people. Chicago police were made aware of the video Tuesday afternoon. A young African American woman streamed the video live on Facebook showing at least 4 people holding the young white man hostage.
It shows you how dumb these kids are. Dude, their IQ is that low. Okay, first of all, these kids, not only should they be arrested, they should be castrated. They should be sterilized, all 4 of them, the girl and all 4 of those other kids. We don't need them reproducing. We don't need those kids contributing to the gene pool, because most of these kids are from very destructive environments, very destructive households. I don't care if it's politically incorrect, but yo, you can't go to certain areas because of knuckleheads. You know, dude, it's all fun and games until these morons pull the wrong guy out of the car. It's all fun and games before these morons who can't shoot a mailbox at 20 feet, a postal box at 20 feet. They pull the wrong guy out, and they're going to catch one. And they're going to catch one right in the skull, right in the chest, whatever it is. I mean, you don't see this crap happening in Texas. You don't see this crap happening in any of the gun states. You don't see it. Only where there's the highest gun control in the world, where the highest Democrat rule. This is your legacy of you bloody Democrats, man. This is what you guys do. Wherever you libtards go, all you do is leave destruction and decrepitness in your wake. This is your legacy. Your legacy is destruction. We could right now, CJ, if we wanted to we could do a textbook study on every big city that's been run by Democrats and what happens. Los Angeles, run by Democrats, ran to the ground, still crazy. Okay? Chicago, Detroit, New York City. Okay? Thank God for Giuliani. Okay? But my God, this is what happens.
Yeah, just, no humanity in it at all. I mean, even outside of
CJ, those kids, those IQs are probably 62 to 65 on those kids.
just absolutely insane. And to watch it's even more difficult. You know, here we had, you know, several months ago that there was, you know, one white person that throws a punch at a black guy at a Trump rally, and Trump is accused of inciting riots. Right? He's accused of
Right.
you know, raging a race war across the United States. Well, what do you call this? What
Correct.
do you call
This
this,
is
Barack Obama?
and I will lay this at the foot of Obama. I will lay this at the foot of George Soros. I will lay this. I mean, this is the kind of look, man. Growing up in the '80s, right? You know, I grew up in a predominantly, it was a poor area. It was a predominantly black area. But my friends and I, we didn't prey on weak kids. It's not something you took pride in. You know, there was a thing called fighting somebody, mano y mano, fist on fist, whatever. There was a great, pride in that, so to speak. You know, it's the environment's still the same. You still have poor environments, but the mentality is different. Back then, kids didn't go ahead and kidnap mentally handicapped or weak kids and torture them for days on end. That's a bunch of BS, man. There's no honor in that. This is a level of lunacy and brainlessness, man. I can't even fathom. It's got to stop. These kids, oh my God, I wish somebody would do this to me, CJ. I swear, somebody come try to pull me out of my car. Ooh, please.
Right. And here's the thing too, B, okay, because, you know, right now we'll probably see this. I think it was, you know, I had a friend that sent it to me last night, and then I saw it on, you know, Drudge this morning, everything. But flip the narrative here. What if these were four white people doing this to a black person?
Forget about it. We'd have the Reverend Jesse Hyde Jackson. Jesse Jackson will be out there, CJ. He'll be out there and singing, and with Al Sharpton be out there, and they'll be singing "We Shall Overcome." I mean, that's exactly what's going to happen. Oh, the racist white man. Oh, look at this. The reason why, they were able to stream on Facebook is because these white kids, they had a smartphone. That's white privilege. They had a smartphone, so that's white privilege. And they go on and on and on about this mythology called what? There's no such friggin' thing as white privilege. Doesn't exist. Doesn't exist. As I keep telling people, I throw out the challenge. Show me institutional racism. Doesn't exist. Well, some people say, well, Planned Parenthood. Well, Planned Parenthood Institute. Well, do you think if the illegitimacy rate in poor black areas wasn't 74%, what the birth rates that high, there's no nuclear family in sight, government becomes the baby daddy. Do you think Planned Parenthood would, at the end of the day, is a business, would be there? No, it wouldn't be there. If the upper crust areas were with higher demographics, if those parts of the country were, are having an alarming rate of birth, yeah, you'd see Planned Parenthood in the Hamptons. You'd see Planned Parenthood in Beverly Hills. You would see that. It'd be all over. It'd be like in some of the high end areas, like in what's that place outside of Chicago? That high end area, Schaumburg, Illinois.
Schaumburg.
Yes.
Schaumburg.
Yeah. You see like Planned Parenthood right over there. But no, man, it's got to stop. It's got to stop, and I'm hoping to God that when jobs start coming back, when this country starts to turn around for the better, this type of BS stops. And there needs to be a rediscovering of masculinity in every, not only in amongst people of all different colors, but especially in the African American community. It's got to stop, man, because what's happening there it's terrible, and it's again, you could blame that whole thing on the foot of Democrats. This is what happens when you have insane politics. You have plantation politics in effect, CJ. Plantation politics, man. And that's what happens. Exactly. And they propagate this lie of white privilege. Get the hell out of here. Get the hell out of here. It's like, dude, I have white friends of mine. They can't even say what's really on their mind because they're afraid of being called racist. This, that, and the other. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Yep. I see it all the time as well.
The hell out of here, white privilege. So stupid. People, I'm sick of people. Let's make 2017. I hope people start thinking deeper. That's what people need to do. God, man. Anyway, what's going on in crypto? Oh, go ahead,
Well,
man. What do you think?
no, I was just going to say, in terms of the market, and great job yesterday with Hump Day. Really enjoyed listening to it and everything. So,
Yep.
yeah, I mean, the I think the markets are geared and they're ready to take off. So, here we're seeing Bitcoin take off. I think the metals are going to fall in right behind us. So, there's a great article up. It looks like CoinDesk put out that some targets of where that's going to happen. So, what do you think, V?
I think, I mean, anything is possible. I'm not going to quite go ahead and say this is an absolute 100% fact. It's going to happen, this, that, and the other. But what I will tell you is I think there's a lot of support here. And granted, there's been some sell orders put. There's been some selling on Bitcoin because some people are thinking this is the high. They're going to jump off. No, it's going to go higher, and I think those who sold, I think there's more people holding than they are selling because they want to ride this thing. They absolutely want to ride this thing, and I think that there's a lot of fundamentals here that you will see $2,000 Bitcoin possibly this year. It's very, very likely as we're going to get close to 2,000. If not, we will be at $2,000 per Bitcoin this year, man. There's a lot of reasons for it. And again, it's primarily built around the fact that it's blockchain technology that's driving it. It's blockchain technology that's driving it. The fact that a lot of the privacy concerns that people would have, where some individuals develop these powerful algorithms that could track Bitcoin transactions, and then try to figure out who the person is who owns the wallet. But that privacy concern is definitely going to be fixed, and they are going to really start expanding on Bitcoin, the utilization of Bitcoin, the utility of Bitcoin, and as more countries around the world, CJ, which is the biggest driver, as more nations around the world who have running these wonderful socialist experiments are floundering and failing with their failing currencies, their population are going to start using an alternative to their fiat currency. Bitcoin is a part of that. So I think in 2017, I think we're going to see $2,000 Bitcoin, we're going to see $2,000 gold, and we're going to see a 20,000 Dow, bro. I think it's a reality, man.
I I think you're right. I think everything is geared up to head that way. I mean, as far as the confidence, the momentum that is being built, love him to death. Rand Paul came out with an audit the Fed that he's already gotten to Trump's desk. So hopefully that has the momentum this year to good to go in the Fed to uncover what's there. He's calling out some of the GOP that have already wanted to put forth a budget that's putting lots of debt, more debt into it. So I mean, I think in terms of the market, I mean, it's, again, and I've said this numerous times, it's more or less the culture, the climate that's created to build that. And I think that everything here is kind of coming to a perfect, synchronicity of the movement, the Bitcoin that has in Venezuela, some of those economies where the paperback is just completely falling apart. Shoot, even in Mexico, right? That's a huge opportunity in Mexico with the peso, falling the way it is. What if 5 years ago some of the Mexican people would have started investing in Bitcoin, versus still hanging on to their pesos?
Man, I'm still hitting my head on the desk saying, man, what if 5 years ago if I would have invested on Bitcoin? I'm saying the same thing to myself. Oh man, the biggest driver for gold, and people are saying, oh, it's going to be, there's so many factors. There's India, there's China, there's the new Silk Road. There's the Trump. Trump loves gold. He wants to completely overhaul the corporate income tax system, implement $1 trillion worth of infrastructure spending over the next decade. There's so many things he wants to do, and he loves gold, this, that, and the other. But here's the thing, man: the biggest driver, and the reason why we're going to have high gold prices in 2017, and this is why a lot of these deflationary guys who have deflation on the brain because their brain is starting to deflate. The reason why they don't get it, and again, these are guys that don't work in the gold industry. Okay, they don't know what the hell's really going on. They don't understand the Asian markets whatsoever. what they don't get is this: the biggest driver of $2,000 an ounce gold is the Federal Reserve itself, man. Is the Federal Reserve itself, okay? And that, because as the Feds, you you look at their balance sheet, it's getting larger and larger. They're running all the crazy financial malarkey that they've been running for the past couple of years. The Fed is going to be the reason. You watch it now as they're trying to raise interest rates, as they're trying to do whatever they're trying to do. Okay, they're the ones that are going to start creating inflation, and they're the ones that are going to be the main driver of people getting into gold, bro.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, I think that's spot on.
Yep. That's it. Look no more. You don't need to, granted all these things are happening with the New Silk Road, all these things are happening with with the Shanghai Gold Price Exchange, all the the financial scandals that are coming out on the suppression of gold and silver prices, which are, you have major lawsuits on the books right now with that. But that's not the driver. The main driver, okay, is going to be the Federal Reserve itself as the fiat experiment comes to an end, CJ.
Boom.
Just like that. Anything else, my man? What else is on your radar?
I think that's it. V.
I think we covered everything, man. We've covered the gambit for today. Just recapping for all you guys. MAGA is real. The MAGA is real. Believe in the MAGA.
It is real indeed. Indeed.
Absolutely. CJ, give you shout outs, man.
Yeah. Hey, listen, everyone. Thank you for being with us this morning. Have a great day. Whatever you're out there doing, be epic, as B likes to say.
Yes.
I've had going on my third cup of coffee, so I'm energized. I'm ready to take on the world. Make sure to follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook. I think our footprint's everywhere. I've been posting a lot more to Steam It. Someone asked me we're going to get to Steam It more, so trying to get more articles on Steam It as well. This Friday, it's perfect timing coming up. We're going to have a great person that speaks well about the blockchain and Bitcoin on Friday. Tone Vays is going to be coming back with us this Friday evening. He has conflicting views as far as expanding the blockchain. I'd really love to get Roger Ver and him on together and allow you to moderate like a little friendly debate with those two to because they both have some opposing views and they're both very professional about everything. But I think that'd make for a great show.
I agree with you, man. That's going to be awesome. And guys, so again, check us out on roguemoney.net. Follow us on Twitter at the Rogue Money. Check out the Rogue Money Facebook page. Subscribe to this channel. Spread the love. Let's make it happen. And also, it's the New Year's. It's the financial New Year's for yourself. So let's hit a resolution. If you're suffering in debt, you need a better credit score. You got creditors and collectors calling you, bugging you, writing you love letters, telling you that you owe them money and when are you going to pay. Or you just need to buy a new home, a new car. You just need a better credit score. Check out my boys over at myfreedomnow.us. Go to myfreedomnow.us and you can book a call with yours truly. And we'll go over your entire game plan and what we got to offer and what we can do for you to get you out of the situation you're in to a higher credit score you deserve. myfreedomnow.us. Check it out. With that being said, this is the gorilla and the economist and the uncanny, the denizen of the airwaves, CJ. We are over and we are out.